Okay.
flipped that Greek ship,
Uh-huh.
Oh.
and they were kind of reluctant to take any chances at all. And she
Oh.
said the channel was narrow
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
the winds were up a little bit, so and we
Yeah.
had a female captain. She just wouldn't risk it,
Okay.
and
I don't.
nobody ought to argue with her.
Okay. That's right. I don't blame them.
Hmm.
Cause you're no match for that big ocean.
Hmm.
That's for
I
sure.
was disappointed, but I kept on trekking.
So
Yeah.
y'all travel a lot.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
we've been all over the world, man. And when I say all over the world,
Mm-hmm.
we've been to South America, we've been to South Africa, we've been to about 67 countries in Africa, we've
Mm-hmm.
been 67 countries in South America, Australia, Fiji, oh man, all over Europe.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we do a lot. We've done a lot of traveling since 2000. We started in 2000.
Okay.
One of the members of our church set up a travel agency,
Oh, okay.
and we were both on the deacon board.
Yeah, cause see now this is not normal.
No, it's not.
No, because that's why when I was reading when I was reading your
Uh-huh.
article,
Uh-huh.
and so where all the places you've been, I don't know anybody that I've talked to
Uh-huh.
that is black that has been
Uh-huh.
around the world like that.
But
Hmm.
uh, that one in 1980 when we did the 4,200 miles across Europe by motor coach, that was
That's yeah,
fantastic.
yeah.
That was beautiful.
Yeah, I like traveling by coach better than by air because you miss so much when you're up in
Right,
there.
right. Uh-huh. Yeah. I never saw cabbages so big in all my life as that.
Hmm.
And the Matterhorn.
Yeah.
I don't know how anybody can look at the Matterhorn and not believe in God.
Hmm.
It sets majestically. I mean, it just says God. It really does. It does.
Most of the earth does that.
Right.
You know, we get so wrapped up in little things we put up and
Right.
everything.
Uh-huh.
And when we were in Spain,
Mm-hmm.
that's when I realized we don't know a thing about history in the United States.
Uh-huh.
We don't have a history here.
Okay.
I'm leaning up against this post and asking the guy about it. He said, "Oh, see, that was probably built in 3rd century BC,
Uh-huh.
and they reused stuff. You know, somebody came in and disposed them, and first thing they do is burn down your temple and then build my temple right on top of where your temple is, and
Uh-huh.
that means that my God is stronger than your God. And then you come back and say, "Oh no, my God is stronger." So you burn his down, and then
Right.
somebody else comes in,
Uh-huh.
and that thing. At one time it had been a mosque. You know, when the
Uh-huh.
Moors
Right.
when the
Mm-hmm.
Moors were running Spain,
Mm-hmm.
and then when the Reformation came back in, Louis, Isabella, and Ferdinand took everything over.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
They took that same mosque and turned it into a Catholic church.
Okay.
You know, there's not a lot of people know about the Moors.
Yeah.
Well, he's worldwide.
Hmm.
He's worldwide.
Yeah, but see, um, when you talk about the Moors, knowing that they were black,
All right.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
but there were also um,
They were Muslim.
Muslim.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Muslim. Yeah.
Right.
You know, see,
And
now
that,
prior to my uncle sharing with me, I didn't know anything about it.
here's something about the Muslims that is not widely known, and that is that they believe in coexistence. That for the 700 years that they ran the Iberian Peninsula,
Mm-hmm.
Jews, Christians, Muslims, all religions coexisted and worshipped and lived in the same place harmoniously.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't until the Catholics came back and took the thing over, and the first thing they did, they gave especially the Jews and the Muslims, they gave them two choices: convert or leave.
Okay. But
Hold on a minute. You said the Catholics started this?
Yeah, they
Okay.
didn't start it. That's what they did. It wasn't the first time they done that.
Okay. Okay.
They just believed that it's their God or no God. My way or the highway.
So
mm-hmm.
the Muslims didn't do
No,
that back
they
then.
still don't.
Well, because now part of the newer Muslims do this.
Well, some of those sects, yeah.
Yeah, the newer ones. Okay.
Mhm.
But it goes all the way back to Abraham, Sarah,
Yeah. And that maiden servant, that maid servant.
Hagar.
Mm-hmm.
It starts from those two sons.
Yeah, but not trusting God. And
That's
Sarah
right.
gave him that.
That's right.
Mhm.
And just what was going on between
These foul,
uh,
foulness, wickedness,
Isaac
and
and
likewise
Ishmael
slow.
is still
Oh.
going on.
Mhm.
But
You know,
I'll
it's
get it.
still going on.
It's loaded
So,
that
you
vice.
know, because I know when you went to the Dome of the Rock,
They wouldn't let us in.
they wouldn't.
Uh-uh.
We went
Why?
in.
They wouldn't let us in there. And going to Bethlehem
Uh huh.
from Jerusalem, they looked at you funny. But it's open to tourists,
Okay.
no problem.
Mm-hmm.
But that wall they talk about all the time, that's the most depressing thing you ever want to see in your life. Those guys have just literally walked in there and said, you can't live here anymore. And put up these 20-foot walls between, right down the middle of your country, see that you live on this side, but this
Uh
is
huh.
our side over here. And to get to Bethlehem where Christ was born, you got to go through checkpoint.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to get off the bus that brought you to that spot, walk through the checkpoint, and then you get on a Palestinian bus
Okay.
that
Right.
will that then takes you to the Church of Sepulchre.
Mm.
But you know, we were there in '71,
Uh-huh.
and it was altogether different from what it is now.
Oh,
Yeah.
You
sure.
know, because we went to Marysville.
Uh-huh.
In '70, we visited uh, Jacob's Well and drank water from Jacob's Well. Okay. In '71, when we went, due to the hostility, we could see Jacob's Well,
Uh-huh.
but we could. They didn't want us to drink water from Jacob's Well.
Well,
In '70, I knelt in the Garden of Gethsemane,
mhm.
and in '71, the tourists they weren't gonna have no Garden of Gethsemane because they kept picking all souvenirs,
Oh.
Uh-huh.
picking the leaves off. So
Oh.
they had put a fence around it. You, I didn't kneel in it that time because okay, I did wade in the Dead Sea.
Yeah,
Yeah, you
Did you?
did too.
she
I
did.
did.
Okay, that that water in the Dead Sea felt like a balm on your legs. You know, I
Well,
mean,
they got all mud in there. They put the mud and everything on. I was taking pictures.
okay.
Oh, a
Were you
balm. A
baptized in the
balm.
River
I
Jordan?
I wanted to
BALM.
the
Okay, I
day
got
that
you.
we were supposed to be baptized. This is when I went back in '82.
Uh-huh.
I was going to be baptized. Uh, but the tour was late arriving,
Yeah.
and it was just about dusk dark, so it was too dark to. But I stood on the banks of the Jordan, and I thought about the song that they sang, standing on the banks of the Jordan, watching the ships go past.
Uh-huh.
And that Jordan isn't that wide,
You know,
But
I
it's
never
not a
thought about
river.
the Sea of Galilee being a
Oh.
lake until I got there.
right?
You just accepted that's what it was
Yeah,
because
they say
of
Sea
how.
of Galilee and the water was bad and they
But
were
I'm
gonna
telling you,
die
it
down the
can get
middle of it and
rough.
everything. Yeah, yeah,
It
but
can get rough. I
something
say
can't stay. You know,
I
it's
sailed
a
on it
big
three
lake.
times, you
Hmm.
know. So
Well, we got baptized and
Our pastor went with
he
us.
went with
okay,
us and we
okay.
baptized practically everybody that went with us. I was
Well,
one of the first.
the in '71, Reverend Luke was baptized
Hmm.
in the Jordan. Uh, but you know, I'm digressing. When we went to South America, did you sail on the
Put that
Amazon?
Yep,
Yeah.
on the. Let
we
me see
did
if this will
Rio
work.
Negro rather than Amazon.
No. Look that up.
It's a tributary,
Yeah,
but we
gotcha.
went to
Yeah.
what's the name of that place? Started with a M.
Manaus.
Manaus, and
Okay.
we got on the boat at Manaus, and it was
See,
like ecology cruise. The guy had two or three, no,
yeah,
actually
see,
they had
when I
four
connected
demons
it,
on the boat
it
with
put
us.
a
The
generic.
boat was built to hold 100 people.
Well, you
Um,
know, uh,
Software
one
system, but
lady
it will not scan.
that
So
was
I had
on
to
the
wait till
tour
that
with us,
Uh-huh.
downloads
Oh, okay.
she
because
had nerve
the
enough to get out
probability
of the
document
boat
scanning, please try
because when we
again.
docked for lunch,
Help
we had lunch.
support.
Okay,
Uh,
uh,
but
the
more than likely, it's just that
she
the
got
right
out of the boat
um, file is
in
not
that
on
water
there.
and swam, and I said
Because I
never,
bet
because
you it's not fixed, but they just
they
want
got
to
those eating fish
take
there.
update.
Oh,
Little
piranha.
Well,
piranha.
that's what
Yeah,
I'm
we
doing
went
We
now.
went
piranha
fishing for
fishing.
piranhas. They look like little bluegill. They're
I
just
know,
about the
but
same
they would
size.
eat a man alive.
Mhm.
Well, yeah.
Uh-uh. But
So she
that
made
that
it
was that.
safely, huh?
I don't mind riding on the water, but I'm okay.
So those people swim in the water all the
I
time.
know.
Let me see this.
Okay,
You just figure you taste better than they do, huh?
I didn't take the risk, but now I going. But the heights of Peru. Did you go up on top on the mountains
Yes.
in Lima?
We went to Machu
Machu
Lima.
Picchu.
Picchu.
You went,
We
we went to Lima,
Yeah,
Machu Picchu,
yeah,
and Cusco.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Cusco.
Okay.
That's
I,
where we got
I, I can
off
tell
the
you some
plane and
stories
got our
about
air,
Cusco.
got our oxygen.
We
But
talk about how high it was off over above sea level.
okay,
Man, I don't think
right.
that
I'm
mountain was
telling you, uh, and I'm so glad that I went when I could
Mm-hmm.
because
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't make that now.
Yeah, yeah.
Because uh, in Bogota, Colombia, we went down in the salt mine,
We haven't been
down
there.
in the salt
Mm-hmm.
mine. It's a church down there now.
Yeah,
It was at
yeah.
that time.
It's still there.
It's still there. Okay.
Uh-huh. We didn't go to Bogota because since you've been there, the drug cartels, everything took over
Well,
that
you
place.
see,
See there?
that the
We're just saying, ain't none of us thinking about doing that kind of traveling because it's too dangerous around the world.
You know, though, everywhere we've gone, well, a lot of places we've gone, there's
Is there
been
another plug in the back? Yes, a three.
No. Oh, yeah.
there's been civil war going on. When we were in the car, there was a civil war going on, but it was down. We were up in the northern part of Senegal, and it was down in the southern part of Senegal.
Mm-hmm.
But they said, but it didn't bother us. And when we were on
that's
Fiji,
right.
so we got to Fiji right after the coup.
Oh, yeah.
And it sounds real dangerous here, but when you get there and find out what really happened,
It's not that bad.
it wasn't that bad. The guy that was the president
Mm-hmm.
violated the law of the land because he
Okay.
wanted the hotels and everything to come in there so he could boost the economy. And they had a law that said that foreigners can only own a certain percentage of the land. And these hotel chains would have had to own more land than that. And they got stuck up there. And when they found out that the president had approved it, they told him, "You got to go."
Oh.
So he resigned. So that was the coup.
Okay. Well, we had 3 missionaries
Mm.
from New Hope. Uh, and and the fourth one, the second one that went, no, the third one that went over tried to
Um,
match wits
I know
with the
I'm
witch
gonna
doctor.
my
Oh,
son and
my.
granddaughter's been
Did they eat him?
dealing with my
He came
granddaughter.
back deranged.
Yeah,
And they
yeah.
Oh.
come
Yes,
like
he did.
69,
Because they were selling those picks they
Yeah,
used,
they,
them brain picks they used when they were cannibals. They missionary taste real good.
But uh, that was Walker, and that came back. But you don't go over there trying. You're supposed to be going over there to help save souls, not
this app can't run
to
on
do
your
that.
PC
But I was
because
thinking
it's
about.
um,
I was there's something I wanted to tell you. Mm,
because
it'll
that's
come
not
back to me.
wireless. You
I'll
can't
tell
do
you
that.
something funny. We were on, was this that 18-day cruise we were going across the Middle Passage when Barack Obama was running for president?
Uh huh.
Yeah.
and we had a separate room. Well, at the dining room,
Uh-huh.
we were all black,
Okay.
and the table next to us was all white. So
Uh-huh.
they were for McCain, we were for Barack Obama.
Okay.
The night that Barack Obama won, we
Uh-huh.
had a separate room. We
Oh,
celebrated.
yo,
Okay.
party.
Went to dinner the next day. The whole table was
It's gone.
absent.
They
They
they were
didn't
no
show it
show
all.
presenter.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Mm.
But I mean, we had Sunday school lesson, not Sunday before last. What I mean? And when you think about, they talk about blue bloods and this kind of blood. You ain't never seen any blood in any color but red. And out of one blood, God made all nations, so we all can.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm wondering where, and it's one of the first questions I'm gonna ask when I get to the other side. Why did they put this gene in us that makes us want to fight each other and kill each other?
Why did they do what?
Why do we have this passion for killing each other or for killing?
Uh,
It,
Why is it I can get angry enough to jump on the window? Dwayne gets
sin.
angry enough to jump
It's
on the
sin.
window.
It's sin.
yeah. What does he say? What causes quarrels and fights among us?
No, but I mean, it
Cain
stems from it stems from
Yeah,
Adam,
he did.
Adam and
And-
Eve.
and
Right.
The disobedience.
to
Well,
me,
I know,
it
but
seems
but
like
she said
somebody blew
when he
it, but I
says
know
what
it's somebody
causes
with lots
quarrels
more
and
than I
fights
am.
among us, because we want something we cannot have,
Uh
so we want to take it.
huh. Uh huh.
But the
But
animals, but the other species on this planet have the same wants and desires. But the only time they actually show is when they fight for food or for survival. They'll kill each other to survive.
I know.
But we do it for trinkets.
I know.
Right.
But you see, we are so intelligent, we're ignorant.
Well, but that's it though. That's it. That's it because they don't have the intelligence that we have.
Right.
They're not made in God's
Uh-huh.
image.
Right.
We're made in
Right.
God's image,
Uh-huh.
and at the point where we wanted to be
Be God.
God, start making those type of decisions, and we went way off.
Right. And he gave us freedom of choice.
Mm-hmm.
So you can do it if you want to. You can believe in him if you want to. You don't have to. He still will let you breathe his air.
Mm.
He will still provide food for you. But one day, there's a price.
I can just see man standing there with this remote. When you
Yeah.
cross over here to click on your
I'm sorry. But think about this. Think about this. When the Indians that were here,
Uh-huh.
uh, they believed in God, maybe in not the way that
We do,
well not the way that the white settlers that came over here did, and so they called them heathens. But what did they do? They took care of the land. They didn't kill more than they can eat.
Right.
Some of the same things that
Yeah.
you're talking about here. They did some of the right things,
Right.
but see some
And you see where he got him.
right. But see, what we want to say, we want to blame it all on the white man.
Uh-huh.
You understand what I'm saying? Where I'm going with this is that, but it happens even amongst us, though.
No, of course.
Of course.
Of course. I mean, the cannibals would eat each other. I mean, it's something.
Mhm.
And I said, God made such a beautiful world. There's so much beauty in the world that
Mhm.
you can enjoy, but we would rather destroy it.
Mm-hmm. Let me ask because I want to try to get this focused because I want you Earl Perry. I want you to tell me like your as far back your great grandfather.
Okay.
Tell me as much about them that just list them first.
Okay.
Because see, that'll help me when I put
I got
this
you.
in. Because we're going to have a little time. Because I'm gonna get you. But Earl's going. He's going to Alaska.
Okay.
While he's here, I want to get as much of that.
Okay, my
Okay.
great grandfather was Jack Perry.
Mm-hmm.
He was married to my great grandmother, Mary Jane Perry.
Mm-hmm.
From that union, according to my grandfather,
Mm-hmm.
there were two children. My grandfather was Ezel Willie Perry,
Mm-hmm.
and he had a sister whose name was Early May.
Mm-hmm.
My grandfather left Mississippi in 19, I think it was 13,
Mm-hmm.
and moved to Oklahoma because he had an uncle by the name of Jack no, Neil. I forget his first name, but his last name was Neil. He was already in Oklahoma pastoring, and he was an editor of a paper, the Oklahoma Baptist Voice, I believe was the name of it. And he asked my grandfather, who, although he didn't have a high school diploma,
Mm-hmm.
read a lot. I guess
Mm-hmm.
he was self-educated.
Mm-hmm.
And he moved to Ardmore, Oklahoma, to a little place
Mm-hmm.
called Woodville, right on the outskirts, where he pastored and edited this paper. He then moved to Lawton, Oklahoma, where he pastored a church there, and from there to Oklahoma, to El Reno, Oklahoma, where he pastored a church, and from El Reno he moved to Oklahoma City.
Mm-hmm.
My father, Earl Jennings Perry, was the third of 7 children
Mm-hmm.
between my grandfather, Ezel, and
Mm-hmm.
his wife, I'm having a singing moment
Mm-hmm.
here. What's my grandmother's name?
Sarah.
Sarah.
Mm-hmm.
They met in Mississippi. She was from West Point. At least they got married in West Point, which is not that far from Sugar Lock.
Mm-hmm.
My oldest aunt, Katie Mae,
Mm-hmm.
the my oldest uncle was Willie Edward,
Mm-hmm.
and my dad were all born in Mississippi.
Mm-hmm.
I think my dad was 3 or 4 years old. My dad was born in 1908,
Mm-hmm.
and he was 3 or 4 years old when they moved to Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm. Now, hold it, Katie. How far is Meridian from there?
From Sugar Lock,
Yes,
60 miles.
60 miles. Okay.
60 miles.
Okay. Now, the Katie Mae you were talking about was who?
My grandmother,
Your grandmother. Okay.
yeah,
Okay. Okay. Okay.
she's not from Meridian. She's from West Point.
Right now, I know, but
Oh,
I
okay,
knew
okay.
Katie Mae was
Was
born
from
in Meridian.
Meridian.
So
Okay,
when you said that, I
gotcha.
just wanted to clarify.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Katie, how far is Meridian from Sunflower County?
From where?
Sunflower?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
That's
Well,
on
now
the other
you
side. We
said
get back to
Sarah,
that later.
so where did Katie May come in?
Katie Mae was Sarah's oldest daughter.
Oh, okay, your aunt. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
great aunt.
Did I miss that?
Well, I just didn't make the connection.
No, no, I was just listening.
Oh, okay.
Huh.
Okay. Uh,
Can I have a banana, please?
let me get back
Mm-hmm. I'm sorry.
to the children.
Mm-hmm.
When they got to Oklahoma, my grandfather became pastor of Tabernacle Baptist Church in Oklahoma City. I think it was in 1913, 1914.
Mm-hmm.
My youngest, no, my youngest uncle, who was Ezel the second, was born while my grandfather was pastoring in El Reno. That leaves
Thank you.
Darlene,
Want some fruit?
Naomi Jewell,
Mm-hmm.
and Arnetta, 3 girls that were born in Oklahoma City.
Mm-hmm.
The 7 children all had that musical gene that
Mm-hmm.
runs through Mary Jane's line of the family.
Mm-hmm.
Willie Edward, the oldest boy,
Mm-hmm.
was band director at both Douglas Junior High School, L.P. Moon Junior High School, and Douglas Senior High School in his career.
Mm-hmm.
He also, during the Second World War, moved to Oakland, where he worked as an electrician in the shipyards and
Mm-hmm.
played in local bands there in the San
Mm-hmm.
Francisco area.
Mm-hmm.
After the war, he moved back to Oklahoma City. My dad, who's the next, well, Katie May was even older She was the firstborn. She was a music teacher at Dunbar Elementary School there in Oklahoma City.
Mm-hmm.
She was doing that when I started the school, like from kindergarten, first, second grade. When I was in second grade, we moved to Ardmore, Oklahoma, where my dad accepted a pastorate there. Up to that time, he assisted my grandfather at Tabernacle. And he was one of those itinerant preachers that would go to Luther, Oklahoma on the second and fourth Sundays. Didn't have enough people to have
Mm-hmm.
4 Sundays. So they would have church at the Baptist church on the second and fourth, and at the Methodist church on the first and the third, and you had the same people going to both churches,
Mm-hmm.
So they interconnected that way.
connected that way.
Mm-hmm. Not AME.
I don't know, just Methodist.
Mm-hmm.
Could have been AME, could have been CME, could have been
Okay,
ME. I don't
okay.
think it was ME was
Okay.
the white folks. It was either CME or AME,
Okay.
but I
Okay.
don't know which one.
Mm-hmm.
Um, my dad, along with pastoring, loved to work with his hand. He was quite a carpenter.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, he built a parsonage while we were in Ardmore, and the parsonage still stands next to the church. He also sang.
Mm-hmm.
He also stepped in and directed the choir.
Mm-hmm.
And most of the work that he did on that church while he was down there was connected some kind of way to music. He
Mm-hmm.
was building the choir up, or he bought what they called an organo, which was a device set on top of a piano since they couldn't afford an organ.
Wow.
And it was connected to this little black box set on the side with a speaker, and it sounded like an organ when you were playing.
I've never heard of this.
Now, what
That was
was
the first organo. I've seen two of them. One was at that church, and one was a guy I played with in Oklahoma City in a band. He had one at his house, but he was a tinkerer also.
So this was pretty much homemade.
No, it wasn't homemade.
What-
No, it was
I've
not
never heard
homemade.
of it.
In fact, a technician came out and installed it. Now, where he found that thing, I was too young to know at the
Okay.
time.
Okay. Because I thought you said he would. I thought he kind of was tinkering around and he kind of made
No,
it.
he
This
didn't
was
make that
Okay.
one.
Okay. I get you.
He might have had one of those drives, the back of the church. They had it, and it worked.
Mm-hmm.
Um, he was in Ardmore for 9 years. 9 years? Yeah, he was in there for 9 years. And during my junior year in high school, my grandfather had glaucoma,
Mm-hmm.
and he was going blind from it. And after scaring us half to death, delivering us to Oklahoma City and Ardmore, he finally decided he might need some help. So when I was 16, he called my dad to come back to Oklahoma City to help him as the associate pastor at Tabernacle.
Mm.
When I graduated from high school, I went to Langston, where I got my bachelor's degree.
Mm-hmm.
I had a major in math and a minor in music.
Mm-hmm.
Played in the band, sang in the choir, played basketball.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't gonna play football, but the football team just went to Texas, and I found out the acapella choir was coming to California.
Mm-hmm.
Loved to travel. Didn't know it at the time how much I did love to travel. But at that time, I did make a decision to join the choir so that I could travel with the choir. So we came to California twice, and we went to Canada once
Mm-hmm.
during the 4 years I was at school. Met my first wife there.
Mm-hmm.
She was a music major a business major for 1 year. Almost flunked out of school, so she changed her major to music and was on the dean's list for the other 3 years. We had 2 kids,
Mm-hmm.
Kitty and Earl III. We divorced while the kids were still in elementary school. Kitty went on to marry a guy by the name of Kermit Tilford.
Tilman.
Tilford.
Tilford.
T-I-L-F-O-R-D.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Kitty met Kermit at Oklahoma State University, where she went to school. One of the main reasons both my kids went to Oklahoma State was because my youngest sister, Katie,
Mm-hmm.
was on faculty there. I haven't talked much about my siblings.
Mm-hmm.
I was the oldest of 3.
Mm-hmm.
My sister Marthann is 18 months my junior.
Mm-hmm.
She sings and she was a counselor with the Oklahoma City Public School System until she retired.
Mm-hmm.
She married Richard Palmer, who she met while before she started teaching when she was working at Fort Sill, Oklahoma. They had one son whose name is Richard Cecil Palmer III.
Mm-hmm.
Richard Cecil Palmer III married Brenda Boykins down at the University of Oklahoma, where he was attending on a football scholarship. He didn't graduate from the University of Oklahoma, but he graduated from the University of Central Oklahoma. He transferred.
Mm-hmm.
They
Now, was
had
that more of a black school?
no,
Central? Okay.
it's a small school,
More small school.
and it wasn't a jock factory.
Mm-hmm.
He just got run over by the talent that was at OU. He was good, but he wasn't that good.
Mm-hmm.
They had 5 kids.
Mm-hmm.
Their oldest is Lauren Elizabeth.
Mm-hmm.
Lauren, I don't know where it came from. Elizabeth was my mother's middle name.
Mm-hmm.
Lauren is now part of a band called Max something. I forget the name of the band, but she's in the band.
Mm-hmm.
And she also works at a clerical position at Oklahoma Baptist University, where she and her sister Leah went to school.
Mm-hmm.
Leah just this past spring graduated from Oklahoma State University
Mm-hmm.
with a master's.
Mm-hmm.
And I forget what Leah's master's in. Leah's one of these people who can do a little of everything also. She's also in this band.
Mm-hmm. What kind of music do they play?
You're asking the wrong
Folk, I
person.
think.
Folk, yeah.
Okay.
It's folk.
Because I was thinking jazz, but then
No.
I
The
got.
groups I work, we play jazz.
Mm-hmm.
And this is different.
Okay.
We have
Well, folk, I
voices.
kind of have an idea what folk music is like.
No.
And don't let me, because
Go ahead.
in the back of my, don't let me forget to ask you about Black Wall Street, because you keep bringing up Oklahoma City. Black Wall Street was
Tulsa.
not far from there.
About
And-
80 miles from Tulsa. That's where
Okay.
my first wife was from.
Okay.
And that's where I did my student teaching when I was at Langston.
Okay.
And it was quite, it's still, it's still alive in the soul and the hearts and souls of blacks to live in Oklahoma. It hadn't been forgotten what that thing was like.
No, you're aware of what we're talking about.
I've heard about Black Wall Street. Yeah.
Yeah.
What happened was many of the black citizens of Oklahoma, at the time Oklahoma was very segregated. Oklahoma was segregated until my senior year in high school, when Raymond Gary, who was the governor at the time, just proclaimed it's time to change, and the high schools integrated.
Mm-hmm.
During the 20s, there were quite a few prosperous blacks in Oklahoma, and they congregated in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
Tulsa has, for as long as you can remember, being more of an urban area with ideas and things than Oklahoma City. Oklahoma City was in the cattle and oil, but from the production standpoint rather than from the financial end of this thing. Tulsa was known forever, and I think it's still known as the oil capital of the world, but it all had to do with finance.
Mm-hmm.
Blacks in Oklahoma were well off financially when the Depression hit and the stock market tumbled.
Mm-hmm.
And whites had for years been trying to figure out a way to either get into or to actually just take over or do away with Black Wall Street. And it happened with a ride. The ride started because a young elementary school boy, he might have been in junior high school, he was 8 or 9 years old, whatever, was in the elevator with a white woman or a white girl. And she accused him of either touching her or saying something out of the way of her.
Mm-hmm.
And the whites got together, went to this boy's house, and were going to lynch him. I think they did lynch him.
Mm-hmm.
But that started the riot because then they decided they were going to make all the blacks pay for the sins of this boy. And when they started coming down on, have you heard of the Gap Band?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
man.
Yeah, Gap stands for Greenwood, Orchard, and Pine. Those are the three major streets that this financial district was in. The main one
That's
being
Charlie Wilson.
Greenwood. Charlie Wilson and all those guys.
Oh, wow.
Uh-huh. I taught Charlie Wilson's son, brother. I forget what that boy's name was. He had a real bad burn on the side of his face, and he called him Toast. But you can just do that at black school.
Toast. Oh
Yeah.
my goodness.
That was his Langston name. You know?
Okay. Okay.
They went down there with the guns to wreak havoc, and the blacks started shooting back.
Okay.
And they had to bring in the
Militia.
militia to calm the thing down. But rather than the militia standing in the middle of the thing and calming the thing down, they sided with the whites
This is the bad part.
and just burnt Greenwood and Wall Street, just burned it to the ground.
Huh.
This was in 1929.
Yeah, because when you started telling me about all of your family members living in Oklahoma City, I knew
Yeah.
that you would know about this.
Yeah. But one thing that happened, and the thing that's really kind of kept my life from just being just kind of like this, was that I was born right at the end of one era.
Mm-hmm.
In the beginning, I was born I became an adult, and I was born during the end of Jim Crow and segregation.
Mm-hmm.
But the first white teacher I had was a reserve instructor that taught ROT. No, it wasn't even, it was reserves, Army Reserves, while I was in college.
Mm-hmm.
And the first educator that I had as a white teacher was a teacher at Oklahoma City University my senior year in Langston, when I needed a
Mm-hmm.
C in French to graduate.
Mm-hmm.
I had problem conjugating French verbs because they always taught those during the end of the first semester, beginning of the second semester, and we were out going with the basketball team. So I walked in the Miss, I forget what her name, Scully, I think her name was, and she said, look, I need a C this summer. When you put out the assignments and everything, I'm gonna work on them, and I'm gonna sit back or front wherever you want me to sit. And if it's for the first 1, 2, or 3 of those things, I probably have the answer to it. The rest of it I might have a problem with. All I want is a C.
Mm-hmm.
And I got a C. and I graduated from Langston.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
After graduated from Langston, I taught in the Oklahoma City public school system for 3 years, taught math at F.D. Moon Junior High School.
Mm-hmm.
I then went to the University of Oklahoma and started on a master's in math.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't get it in the first year. So I went to teach at Booker Washington High School in a little place down in southeastern corner of Oklahoma called Idabel. I was down there teaching the year after it was 3 years after I got married, but I was the second in my family to teach there because my wife taught down there the year before we got married.
Mm-hmm.
I taught there, and my future son-in-law,
Mm-hmm.
his parents were teaching there when I taught there. Kermit Senior, and Kermit Junior was actually born while I was teaching down there.
Mm-hmm.
So my grandson, Kermit III, all 4 of his grandparents taught at Booker Washington High School in Idabel, Oklahoma, if you can believe that. He's now, he does something with Geico in Houston.
Mm-hmm.
He just graduated from Waco, from Baylor University in Waco.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't it last January?
December.
Yeah, last December.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting thing about Baylor, there was a very prominent black minister by the name of Manuel Scott, Sr.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Manuel Scott Sr. is from Waco.
Mhm.
When Manuel Scott Sr. graduated from high school, he applied to Baylor,
Mm-hmm.
and he was refused an entry into Baylor because he was black. They ended up giving him an honorary doctorate degree.
You know, I heard him preach his first sermon when he was 18 years old.
Mm-hmm.
How almost young Manuel's church?
Down there on 16th and Paloma.
Yeah, that's where almost young.
Okay.
Now Junior is cut off the thing off the old lot.
Uh-huh.
He's just real
Yeah,
bouncy and
but
everything. He's not his daddy.
since this new pastor that we have,
Uh-huh.
he came for the Legends revival
Uh-huh.
and taught.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He always comes to Metro the first week in
Huh?
December.
You always come to our church first week in
First week
December.
in December.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, I got way off.
He-
No. Well, see, I knew that I would forget because
Yeah.
when you started talking about Oklahoma, I was thinking Black Wall Street,
Mm-hmm.
and so I didn't want to forget. So I said
Okay.
I wanted to remind you to go there with it. But thanks so much. But yeah, you were talking about your siblings
Yeah.
when I did. I'm sorry.
Okay, that's okay. My youngest sister, Katie, was the only one that went to Bishop where my parents went to school. They
Mhm.
met my parents met at Bishop College in Marshall, Texas.
Mm-hmm.
My dad went there and got his degree, and his brother, my dad and his oldest brother, Willie,
Mm-hmm.
they both got degrees from Bishop in Marshall.
Mm-hmm.
His youngest, my youngest uncle, E.W. the third, actually graduated from Wiley. He went on to become chairman of the music department at Wiley,
Mm-hmm.
and was the first black that I know of that actually had a national radio show once a week with the choir there in Marshall.
Mm-hmm.
At the time, we were living in Ardmore, and you could barely pick it up on the radio, because of the static and everything, but
Mhm.
it was quite a deal. Like I said, my younger sister graduated from Bishop, but by the time she went to school, it had moved to Dallas. Had it been in Dallas when I graduated from high school, I might have gone there also. But when I graduated from high school, I really wanted to go to the University of Oklahoma. My mother wanted me to go to a black school. I had scholarships to West Point, to Howard.
Mm-hmm.
My dad said, "You're not going to Howard because it's too far from home,
Mm-hmm.
and there are too many women in Washington D.C. and I don't think you'll graduate."
Yeah. You were a basketball player too.
But this was all
F.
academic,
Right. Okay.
very high IQ. Not bragging, just being honest about it.
Mm-hmm.
We went through the summer, just backing and forth and everything, till we really just kind of ran out of options. And my grandfather's bigger than life in Oklahoma, so I didn't have any problem getting into Langston. He, during his lifetime, was president of the Oklahoma Baptist State Convention for 40-some years. He was first vice president at large of the National Baptist Convention for I think 10 or 11 years.
Mm-hmm.
He established the Oklahoma School of Religion there in Oklahoma
Mm-hmm.
at Langston, and he was the first black minister to actually address the Southern Baptist Convention. And this was back in the early 50s, late 40s, early 50s.
Mm-hmm.
He also donated to a wing of Baptist Hospital there in Oklahoma City, one of the largest medical facilities in Oklahoma at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I said, he was large than life. He did a lot of traveling. He was the first of our family that I know of. Did he start traveling before you, Katie Mae?
Huh?
Did my grandfather travel before you? Start traveling before you did?
You did?
No, my grandfather, not me.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
talking about Ezel, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Oh, see,
That's in the
I
write-up.
was 17 when he came through Sherlock.
Okay.
And he had been over there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But wasn't no planes where he went. You know, he went over on the boats.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, after he was at that church that he pastored for so long in
Tabernacle. Yeah.
Oklahoma City,
Uh-huh.
he had a tent revival out here.
Okay.
hmm And that's when uh, Cheek,
Yeah. That's the
we
baby girl.
we
Yeah.
were there.
Okay.
Yeah, it was on Central Avenue.
Mm.
Uh huh.
When
Yeah.
I was
And she
in
said, "That's my daddy."
when I was in college, you know, I traveled like I said, we traveled with the choirs and everything,
Uh-huh.
and we would go to churches wherever town we were in on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
And if I was introduced as a visitor, they wouldn't ask me what my major was or what I'm in school, but they would invite me to the pulpit because it was just inconceivable to them that
Period.
Earl Jennings Perry Jr. was not
With them.
was not a preacher. Or
Yeah.
at least going to
Uh-huh.
school to become a preacher, and I'd have to stand up in front of all those people I didn't know and tell them,
Nope.
no, no.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
There
Mm.
was a book written about your grandfather too.
Yeah, prophet in Ebony, guy by the name of Guy. Why am I having problem with his last name?
It's still recording.
Okay.
hmm
Guy Bellamy wrote a
Mhm.
book on my grandfather, Prophet in Ebony.
Mm-hmm.
And it's still available,
See.
but it's available now through the Oklahoma Baptist State Convention. You
Mm.
can get copies of it.
Mm.
My younger sister taught in Oklahoma City for about 5 years, 5 or 6 years.
Mm.
And then she got a master's at Southeastern State University in Ada, Oklahoma. And from there she went to Oklahoma State University to work as a doctoral student.
Mm-hmm.
And after receiving her doctorate, I think it was 84 or 85,
Mm-hmm.
she just stayed there and stayed on faculty until last year when she retired.
Mm-hmm.
She's department head, wasn't she?
Acting department head. They wanted to make her department head. And, you know, they wanted to make her a dean, and she didn't want to take it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's all the siblings.
Mm.
After
You
you
can do
get
the
my,
grands.
huh?
You can do the
Mm.
Jay's kids.
Haven't got to them yet.
Mm-hmm.
After I talked about me getting that master's and moving out. No, I talked about getting that doctorate and moving out here.
Mm-hmm.
And I was working as a systems analyst. Well, I moved out to become department head of University Computing Company out in Van Nuys.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really on a fluke. At the time, I was working at Langston University, and that's where I met my current wife.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mention
We-
her name.
Willie Ann,
Yeah. Okay.
One
And-
word.
one word, yeah, Willianne. Middle name none.
Named after my grandmother.
Her grandmother's name was Willie Ann. 2 words.
Excuse me. I don't want to. I don't want to throw you off.
Go
But
ahead.
there, Willie Lee Perry is one of Jack Perry's.
Oh,
No. This is the son.
oh, okay.
Is Willie Lee Perry,
Mm-hmm.
and so he had 11 children in East St. Louis,
Okay.
and one of his daughters. So his name Willie Etta.
Okay.
So that's why see my mind's going a mile a minute.
Well,
as
let's throw some more stuff. She was born in Memphis,
Mm-hmm.
where Mary Jane died, and where all these little ended up living.
Yep.
She didn't know a thing about them, and I didn't know a thing about them. And when I went to in fact, the second time I went to Memphis was while I was at Langston, and she talked about that. We went down for one holiday, and that's when I met her parents and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And she has a bunch of cousins and uncles and aunts and everything in Memphis. And it wasn't long after that I realized I had as many relatives in Memphis as she did.
Mm-hmm.
I just didn't know them.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, in Sugarloaf, we had a Willie Sue. That's a female. You know, I
Mhm.
mean, They wanted the name after the daddy, but so they just added a name onto it.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
A
a
female
female
name.
name onto
Hmm.
it.
Well,
Yeah.
like both of his name Willie Everett.
Huh?
My grandfather's name is Ezel Willie, and his
Okay.
oldest son is Willie Everett. So it's a
Okay.
lot of Willies.
Okay.
Mm.
That's it. Ezel W. Perry.
Hmm.
Okay.
Wow.
All
Wow.
right. Yeah. But in Mississippi, Pineywood was the black, as you say, black gold. They had nothing white was in that particular little town.
Uh-huh.
It was owned and and it was run by blacks.
Hmm.
Yeah, Piney
There,
Woods, Mississippi.
there were 13 or 14 all black towns in Oklahoma at
Uh
one
huh.
time.
Okay.
Hmm.
Now they're down to about 5 or 6 that I know of.
Uh huh.
I personally
Yeah.
know of 2 that I've been in. One is Tatum's and the other one is Bowling.
Hmm.
Those 2 towns I know of, and I've been in those 2 towns. And I
Mhm.
know people that are from those 2 towns. In fact, I
Yeah.
had classmates out of Langston
Hmm.
from those 2 towns.
Mhm.
Okay, after I moved out here working for University Computing Company,
Hmm.
everything was going good. Nixon announced something on the radio, and people who were engineers one day went to work and came home that Friday with pink slips. And the bottom fell out of the economy,
Hmm.
and University Computing Company decided to move to Dallas
Mm.
and invited me to move to Dallas with them. And not and just having left the Southwest, I chose to stay out here.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Where did you go to Trade Tech?
In '81.
Okay.
This was in 70. No, this was in 68, 68
Okay.
or 69.
Okay. Mhm.
Uh, that's when I went to Unified School District, LA Unified School District, about all this, when they shut down all those places and everything. They had a hiring program for impoverished folks. And I lost my apartment because I didn't have a job. And I was living with T
Hmm.
out on 99.
Hmm.
And because some girl called me from the LA Unified School District where I put in the application and asked me where I was living, and I told her. She said, well, good. She said, you're eligible to come down and take an exam to become a systems analyst. So I did, and I passed it, and I became a systems analyst, and that's what I did for 9 years. And while I was there,
Hmm.
I started looking at the money scale and things like that and said, whoa, if you had a master's,
Yeah.
you could make more money.
Mhm.
So Pepperdine started a master's program where you go to school there on San Pedro at school. I didn't even have to go to Pepperdine and then just
Mhm.
do it right there at LAUSD. And it took a year. And I got my master's.
Mm.
And everything was going fine until the politics and everything started jumping. And then it was one thing the Lord did not put me here to be as a politician.
Mm.
So when the things started going to that, I found out that the guy that was teaching, there was an opening in the community college system for a computer instructor at Los Angeles City College. And it was a 1-year position. And I took a year's leave from LAUSD. I said, well, I'll just leave this place for a year and wait for everything, wait for the ceiling to fall in. And since I won't get any dust on myself, when the dust settles, I'll just come back. And I left, and the ceiling came, and the dust fell, but I didn't feel like going back over there because there was a woman that was teaching at LA Trade Tech named Francine Williams from Oklahoma City. She and her brothers and sisters used to run in and out of the back door of my grandparents' place because they were real tight with all my dad's brothers and sisters. They were all close.
Mm.
So she said, come on over to Trade Tech. Well, Trade Tech's in the middle of downtown, and people didn't know anything about downtown, but that's where all the winos and the drug addicts and all those places hung out. But once I went down there, I found out that wasn't the case at all. So I went to Trade Tech, and I was down there for 20 years. While down there, I started looking around. I said, you know, if I had a doctorate,
Uh-oh.
I could make even more money. So there was a guy named Ned Daphne. And Ned and I started hanging out, and he loved to fish. He was from Slidell, Louisiana. Not Slidell. down there at Bush from, I can't remember the name. It was way down there deep in Louisiana. Boy, about the color of your shirt.
Mm-hmm.
He went on to become one of the chancellors of one of these community college districts out here in California after going home and establishing 2 community college districts in Louisiana. But he's that kind of smart.
Mm-hmm.
But he's the one that talked me into going to Pepperdine, and we both went and got our doctorates at Pepperdine.
So you went back. You got
I got my master's at
your
Pepperdine,
master's, and you went
and
back.
got my doctorate at Pepperdine. And we had the thing worked out, we thought.
Mm-hmm.
President of Trade Tech at the time was a black guy by the name of Tom Stevens.
Mm-hmm.
The vice president of Trade Tech was a black guy by the name of Thomas Lincoln.
Mm-hmm.
Ned, by this time, had become dean down at LA Southwest College, and I was the department head at Trade Tech of computer science and electronics.
Mm-hmm.
And we decided, okay, here's what's going to happen. Tom Stevens, you're going to mentor Earl. Tom Lakins, you're going to mentor Ned Daphne.
Mm.
And we're going to get some chances out of this thing.
Uh-oh.
Everything went fine on that end. But Stevens was not a mentor. He just wasn't in it. He wasn't anything nasty. He just like, I'm not a symphony conductor and I can't fly a jet airplane.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't mean I'm a bad person.
Right.
That just wasn't part of his repertoire. So Tom Lakin went on to become chancellor of the Ventura Community College District. Tom Lakin got that flesh-eating disease.
Mm-hmm.
He was crazy about roses, and he was out tending his roses one weekend.
Mm.
And that like Friday, and by Sunday, Tom was not with us anymore. They just cut everything off. The bacteria was moving faster than they could amputate. So that's how we lost Tom.
Mm.
Tom Stevens died about 3 years ago, 3 or 4 years ago.
Mm.
So, occasionally we see him.
So is that where you went to teaching?
I was teaching at Trade Tech
Mm-hmm.
at the time that I started working on my master's.
Mm-hmm.
I mean my doctorate.
Mm-hmm.
I got my master's while I was a systems analyst down at the University School District.
Mm-hmm.
The master's would enable me to get that teaching job at LA City College.
Mm-hmm.
And then once I got there on what they call a long-term sub-assignment, and at the end of that sub-assignment, a permanent assignment opened up at LA Trade Tech. That's the one that Francine was pulling my coat on because she was chairman of the interview committee. So once I decided I did not want to go back to Trade Tech, go back to the Unified School District as an assistant analyst, I just went down to Trade Tech, took it, and just actually, it was a done deal before I even walked in the door.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I did that. I remember Metropolitan Baptist Church down in
You were
Virginia.
dean also.
Huh?
You were dean.
Yeah. Well, that's part of the
Mm-hmm.
That's what you said, department head, that you meant you were dean.
department head. No, the department head and dean's two different things. Department head, you got 1 or 2 departments.
Mm-hmm.
Dean, you have several department heads that
Work under you.
work under you. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It goes department head, dean, vice president, president.
Mhm.
It's kind of a stepping
Mhm.
stone.
Mm-hmm.
Once I got to dean was when I found out I had high blood pressure. Because, the things started getting tight here, and people started bickering and everything. And I'm not a politician, and the president of that school, who was temporary at the time, and the vice president, who was temporary at the time that I was reporting to, was trying to tear me a new one.
Mm-hmm.
And we were having meetings all over the place. And the thing that was just blatantly obvious to me was that they just didn't like me. It didn't have a thing to do with the program. It didn't have a thing to do with what I was
Personal.
doing.
Mhm.
It was a personal thing.
Mm-hmm.
And one day I'm going down there for this meeting, and I got on my nice looking little suit, because I dress real nice for them meetings and things.
Mm-hmm.
At the time I was driving a 350 truck, hadn't smoked in 10 years, and got in the truck and hit my finger on the edge of an ashtray in the center console thing,
Mhm.
and I couldn't stop from bleeding. Went back in the house and couldn't stop. I said, well, I can just stop back cars on the way. You know, they'll put a 52 in there. When I walked in cars, normally it's a 30-minute wait, so I was ready to wait 30 minutes. I walked in, they stick the thermometer in your mouth and put the cuff on you. 3 minutes later, this woman walked out and said, here, take these pills and go lay down on that gurney. You get ready to have a heart attack.
How high? How high was it?
Yeah. 225 over 100 and something.
Wow.
And I felt just like I feel now.
Mm-hmm.
Felt just
Silent
You didn't
killer.
know, had no
I
idea.
had no idea. But that's how I found out I had blood pressure. And I went to that meeting and told them, hey, look, I'm out of here. You know,
Yeah.
forget it. I'm
Yeah.
going back to the classroom.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys read it. And I went back to the classroom, and I don't know where they went, but it wasn't long after that because they weren't on campus anymore.
Mm. You bring up Pepperdine,
Yeah, go ahead.
but I gotta, because again, this is one I'm gonna forget if I don't. My daughter, she's a basketball player. She's our baby.
Okay.
She got a full scholarship to play basketball at
At
University of Cincinnati.
Okay.
Okay,
Oh,
she was there 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
She was there 2 years, and then one of the evangelists in the church out here in L.A.
Yeah.
talked her in to coming out here to go on the campus of to be a she was been a what they call a campus minister.
Okay.
So she came out here and she was on UCLA campus
Okay.
to help work with the old leader. Well, they thought that she was going to get a scholarship to play basketball in UCLA. She didn't,
Okay.
but she ended up going to Pepperdine. But Pepperdine had moved to Malibu
Right.
at that time, you know. And now this was kind of a sore spot with me because University of Cincinnati is 100 miles down the road. I could watch
I
her
can
play.
understand that. Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, now it's spiritual reasons, so I'm grappling with this. I'm fighting.
Here's one of the big things that impressed me about Pepperdine more than any other place. At graduation, that was prayer
Mm-hmm.
on the program.
Mm-hmm.
The whole time I was there, and I had my guard up just waiting for them, especially in those logic classes and everything. They get to start some religious dogma with me. They
Mm-hmm.
never did.
Mm-hmm.
And they made it very easy for me, of all people, to get through school. I'd have been baked at UCLA.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad I went to Pepperdine, and I encourage anybody else that can get a full ride to Pepperdine to go.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, well, I had to pay $19,000 for her to go that 1 year
Yeah, yeah.
because and again she was on a full ride. I didn't have to pay anything.
Mhm.
She went but see what happened was now again Pepperdine is a Church of Christ
Right.
school.
Okay.
We've been Church of Christ for over 30 years, so
Okay.
that was the church that she came out here for, and so it was kind of rough because I couldn't watch her play basketball anymore.
Uh-huh.
But she was making a spiritual decision, but it fell apart a year into it, and so she was going. Her scholarship was supposed to be paid by her salary.
Okay.
It fell apart, and I ended up having to pay that $19,000 for that 1 year.
Yeah.
But again, it all worked out because she ended up getting a full ride back down in Florida.
Okay.
So that's how she ended up in Jacksonville. But Pepperdine, Pepperdine is
Yes.
brings up some bad memories.
Up until this year, guess who's the girls basketball coach at Langston?
Who's that?
Cheryl Miller.
Cheryl? Okay. Yeah.
Guess
Reggie's.
Guess who the athletic director was?
Oh.
Mike Garrett.
Okay. The football. He's
Yeah, and he brought Cheryl.
that's
in.
right. 'Cause he left USC
Yeah.
and then went there.
He left USC and went home because he got unceremoniously booted out of USC.
I remember that.
Out of USC.
I remember
And
that.
it wasn't anything that he did wrong. Really. Not really,
It was the coach,
Yeah.
wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a couple of the athletes. But
Yeah.
he was just treating them like they treated him.
Wait a minute. This was Reggie Bush.
Yeah.
This was
Yeah,
Reggie
yeah,
Bush. That's
yeah.
right.
And those guys were not. He didn't do any more for those guys or against those guys than they did for him when he went to school.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a different day, and you got some different people out there, and same thing. Pete Carroll ended up.
I know. He went and
Yeah.
left them. They were under
Mm-hmm.
sanctions,
Mm-hmm.
and they struggled there.
Mm-hmm. Pete came out smelling like a rose,
Mm-hmm.
and the boy ended up at Langston. But it was good for Langston.
Mm-hmm.
Me and Cheryl on hugging bases now.
Yeah, yeah, because Reggie lived right there in Indianapolis
Yeah.
for a long time because
Yeah, with the
he
Pacers.
put the Pacers.
Uh,
Yeah.
they were down for homecoming this year. Reggie and Sir Charles Barkley
Mm-hmm.
and Cheryl was our course. And Too Tall Jones. You remember Hollywood Henderson?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, and Hollywood went to Langston too.
Mm-hmm.
So he was down there. Those are some big people. I took a picture with Charles Barkley because on paper we the same height.
Mm-hmm.
There's three of me and Charles Barkley.
Because he was a wide body.
Yeah,
He was a wide
And
body.
he's about 6'7", I think.
Mm-hmm.
6'7".
But he could play that. He played center in college.
He was power. In college, yeah.
In college, he played center
Right.
because he could.
Clemson,
He could.
yeah.
He could.
Block
He
out
could
everybody.
block everybody out. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and he's an athlete, man.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that one fight that he and Shaq got into on the phone. They just both looked at each other and said, "We really gonna do this?"
And they sit on that panel
Mm-hmm.
together
yeah.
and they're laughing and
The fight was.
I'm wearing you out.
Hmm?
We're wearing you out.
So,
So we're not wearing you out.
oh no,
Okay.
because I know how to go to sleep on it.
Yeah. Okay. That's okay.
It doesn't make any difference.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mm.
I'm just happy that you all are here.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad you got us together.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's amazing.
Oh,
He didn't finish Jay and his
Oh.
wife and 2 kids.
Okay, I'm sorry.
okay.
Go ahead.
I
What we
finished
call
kidding.
it,
Did I finish kidding?
Yeah, you did
My daughter-
Kitty and KT.
Yeah, okay, my daughter is a financial advisor now.
Mhm.
She worked for Rocky Mountain News for about 10 years as a systems analyst.
Mm-hmm.
And then a
Same
group
thing you did.
from there
Mm-hmm.
went on and formed their own company. I forget its initials, so I don't remember what the name of it is. But they're doing financial advising now.
Mm-hmm.
And there's one more step she has to take before she gets that real important thing behind her name, whatever it is. Not MBA. She got an MBA at University of Denver
Mm-hmm.
about 10 years ago. And I told you about KT Kerman, my grandson graduated.
Mm-hmm. You did. Mm-hmm.
Her baby brother, Earl Jennings Perry III, that's my son.
We call him
They
Jay.
call him Jay.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, Jay's in Vancouver. He's on vacation with his family. It was his second marriage. His first marriage didn't last long enough for the ink to get dry.
Mm-hmm.
But he met this girl. He's a policeman with the LAPD.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Sergeant.
he's a sergeant in internal affairs.
Okay, now who I'm staying with?
Uh-huh.
His name is Earl.
Okay.
Earl Wright. He's a police officer
With
with
LAPD?
LAPD.
How
Yeah,
long
and
has
his
he been-
son. His son's a police officer also.
They probably didn't know my son.
Mm-hmm. Actually, I got a picture of Earl on here. But yeah.
Family?
Hmm? Well, my wife was a Causey, and Earl's mother is my wife's father's sister. See, so that's
How many removes do we have to be before this thing becomes incest?
But yeah, they live about well, as I looked at it, it was 81 miles from the airport. Now Katie was only 14,
Mm.
but that's who I'm
We
staying.
live about 40 miles from the airport. Not quite, maybe 30.
Because I forget Now Earl, his son, and his daughter, his actually Earl's daughter is a probations officer. So all three of them are in law enforcement. And then my daughter's a sheriff out of now in
The one that went to Pepperdine?
yes. See, again, she's a basketball player. She didn't play at Pepperdine either. Then she was dating. She started dating this guy who was a Jacksonville football player for the Jacksonville Jaguars, and so she ended up moving there to be in the same city with him because he wanted to marry her, and she ended up being in Jacksonville and stayed there. But she married somebody else, and now we have we got a 2-year-old granddaughter. Um, she married a white guy,
Mhm.
and down there he's a great husband. He loves my
That's another
daughter.
thing we have to get used to.
He loves my daughter to death, and he takes really good care of her.
Mhm.
Well, except that my daughter runs all over him. I have to admit.
Well, what they say, skins may differ, but affect.
Absolutely.
Curly hair and dark complexion does not forfeit nature's claim. Skins may
Mhm.
differ, but affection
Yep.
dwells in white and black.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But they've been married for 5 years,
Uh-huh.
and my oldest son's been married for 17 years.
Uh-huh.
You know, I married my my teenage sweetheart. We've been together for 44 years.
Mhm.
Been married for 38.
Yeah.
So, you know.
But like I said, it took me 2 times to get it right, but I got it
Mhm.
right.
That's
Finally
right.
got it right.
Yeah.
And we've been married, like I said, since 77.
Mhm.
I'm looking for a picture of my son. I know I got it in here somewhere. Yeah. That's not good.
Yeah, because that driver's not going to
It's
go.
not going.
No, it's not going to work.
There's my granddaughter.
It's Kayla.
That's Kate.
Earl, you remember Lynn Wheatle, don't you?
No,
Lynn Wheatle,
no.
because she was down at, I think she was working at Trade Tech the same time you were.
What did she teach? What
I
did she
don't
teach?
know. I don't know, but she's married to a minister now.
I might know if I see
If
her.
you
Probably
want
check, I
to,
probably
because
would.
I think
Uh-huh.
that's how I don't know whether it's between her or Lavelle that I got you. Okay.
There's his son.
It's Jackson.
That's
Mhm.
Jackson. He's in the 3rd grade. He's about 5'2", 5'3" already.
Mhm. See, here's
Well, it may have been Reuben. I don't know
right.
which one
Mm.
that made us the connection between
Reuben.
Earl and me. Reuben.
Reuben
Oh,
did,
it's
yeah.
Reuben.
This
Okay.
is
Okay.
this is my this is my daughter Letitia,
Okay.
and this is Sasha. I don't know why she cut her husband's head off in that
Like
picture.
you said, she just put what mattered.
Oh, there we go.
Okay.
There we go.
How tall is she?
Tisha's only about 5'7". Kevin's
Okay.
6'5".
Yeah.
He's a
Yeah.
big boy.
Okay.
So she's probably going to be a
Uh-huh.
big girl.
That's my other grandson. So those are my
She's the
three
oldest.
grandkids.
He's
yeah,
the-
he's the one that's that works for Geico in Houston. He
Okay.
graduated. He's the one that graduated from Waco. From Baylor.
Okay. Okay. Um,
I'll send you
the
that
one
picture
of
if
the
you don't already have it.
Tisdales.
Uh-huh.
See,
Are these the same Tisdale from Tulsa?
well, the Tisdales
Okay.
come from the Perry. These are relatives from the Perry family.
Yeah, but it's a big family. Like you remember Wayman Tisdale? Used to
Right,
play
right.
basketball?
No, I know Wayman because one
Has a smile
I didn't find
like,
out about the
Stephanie.
to the. Oh, wait a minute. Is it?
Yeah.
I just thought of that.
Call it Kate.
I put it in here.
You know,
I
Wayman
don't
dad
know
is
why
a preacher
people
too.
don't put.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I knew that.
Uh-huh.
Cause see, Wayman played for the Pacers.
Yeah, that's
So
right.
he-
He did, right?
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
Wayman was right there. And I actually Tish when
pretty.
Tish was a baby, Wayman used to get his hair cut around the corner from us.
Okay.
And so Tish has a picture with Wayman when he had the box haircut.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Oh.
Who's that playing them Christmas carols?
It's the ice cream truck.
Okay. Is that Don't Shoot?
Oh my goodness. Where did
I do with that?
Left it at home?
Is that you? No. I brought that because it was about the See, the family reunion in Toledo, Ohio, does not say Perry's. It says Tisdale.
Okay.
Because and the reason why I heard they changed it because the Perry's stopped coming.
Okay.
So they just dropped the name.
Okay.
Yeah. But there's quite a few of us coming this year, and oh yes, because this is your book. This is your book.
Okay.
And
Pictures.
Oh, okay.
as what did I do
I'm
with
gonna
my
go
book?
out
Okay.
and see if I can get
Give
one.
me grandfather.
Printer scanner. 'Cause I don't know what my son and granddaughter did with this one. And get back, and if there's still pictures, I know you
Okay.
have a lot of them.
Well, this Windows 10
Compatible?
would be the thing. And hey, let me because I know it's in here. I thought I had pulled it out. I know I did because it's not in here.
What do you need?
It's a white book just like this one.
What you mean, the one that you sent me?
No, this is yours.
Oh, okay.
This is yours
Okay.
here, but
Right.
it's sitting out there somewhere. Unless it's up under here. Well, let me stop this recording.